My wife doesn't love me. She only married me to get closer to my brother. I've given her everything, but she just wants me to disappear so my brother can inherit both estates. On our 5th anniversary, she tricked me into going to a deserted island to celebrate. When we encountered extreme weather, she pretended to be angry and sailed away with our only yacht. I was stranded on the island, bitten by poisonous insects before being swept into the sea. But Anna Roberts still planned to make me vanish a month later, even as she watched me being rescued, barely alive. This time, I didn't resist. I voluntarily stepped aside for them, disappearing completely from her sight. Ding! Story Shots reminds you to click the subscribe button at the bottom right corner to read the full novel. When I was rescued by a group of explorers who happened to be on the same island, I was barely alive, unrecognizable from my former self. My skin was pale and swollen from the seawater, my entire body exuding a deathly pallor. My thighs were covered in countless wounds from tropical insect bites. In my unconscious state, I thought I heard my wife, Anna Roberts, arrive at the hospital. I wanted to ask her why she had done this to me, but I couldn't open my eyes or make a sound. In my hazy state, I overheard her talking to someone. Who knew he'd be lucky enough to be rescued? I had planned for him to be stranded on the island for a month or two. Since this attempt failed, we'll have to wait. We'll try again in a month. It's too suspicious to act now. We can arrange a car accident or a kidnapping gone wrong. No one would suspect anything then. The person she was talking to was my brother, Max Brown. That doesn't seem right. You could go to prison for manslaughter. Anna's voice was firm. I don't want to kill him. Just make him disappear for a while. That way you could naturally inherit both family lines. I just want to be with you openly, even if it's only for a short time. As for Saul, I'll settle down afterwards and be a good wife to him. In the midst of my dizziness, I felt an overwhelming sense of despair. I had been married to Anna Roberts for 5 years. I knew she didn't love me, so for those 5 years, I had done everything I could to be good to her, hoping she would fall in love with me. On our 5th anniversary, Anna suggested we celebrate. I thought she had finally been moved by my efforts and was willing to build a life with me. When she proposed an adventure on a deserted island, I was worried but too elated to refuse. But it turns out it was all part of her plan to be with my brother. I didn't want to cry for this woman anymore, but my insides felt like they were being torn apart. When I woke up, Anna was crying by my hospital bed. Saul, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have gotten angry with you. I regretted leaving in the yacht as soon as I did. I wanted to go back for you, but I got caught in a storm and was swept into the sea. It's all my fault. You must have been through so much. Her eyes were red, and she seemed genuinely remorseful. I pushed her away, feeling numb. I'm fine. It's not your fault. She said she wanted to make me disappear again in a month. Well, I'll give her what she wants. A month is enough time for me to transfer my assets and leave, never to be entangled with them again. Anna's act of concern didn't last long before her true colors showed. She looked at me, hesitating to speak. Saul, Max's company is having some financial issues. Could you let him have the Chamberlain Group project? I laughed bitterly. I've just escaped death. And this is what you want to talk about? That project is important to me too. I won't give it up. Anna's face darkened. Saul Brown, there weren't any dangerous animals on that island. You've done this to yourself just to make me feel guilty, haven't you? I've already apologized. What more do you want? Max is your older brother. Can't you even do him this small favor? I rolled up my trouser leg, revealing my leg that had been ravaged by poisonous insects. There might not have been any large predators on the island, but there were tens of thousands of highly venomous insects. Anna frowned impatiently. Who told you to be such a useless man? Couldn't even fend off a few insects. Hearing her words, I felt a chill in my heart. How do you know there were only a few insects? Anna suppressed her impatience. Darling, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. It's just that Max has always looked out for us. If you don't help him when he's in trouble, people will talk. If you don't want to, then forget it, okay? Her sudden compromise left me bewildered. But I didn't expect that a few days later, the person in charge of the Chamberlain Group would come to the hospital to cancel our cooperation. "Mr. Brown, you'd better check the news online. We can't risk working with a company accused of fraud." I was stunned. My previous phone had been lost on the deserted island, so I quickly bought a new one. As soon as I logged into my account, I received a flurry of messages from my assistant. My company's products were exposed for using substandard ingredients, and someone even revealed that our food products had caused a serious food safety incident in the past, resulting in deaths which I had allegedly covered up with money. This news had spread like wildfire across the internet. Many business partners were terminating their contracts. The internet was flooded with criticism, even escalating to personal attacks against me. "You've lost your conscience in the pursuit of money. We suggest the death penalty for such beasts. Greedy, black-hearted scum deserves to die. Why don't you just drop dead?" I even received numerous death threats in my social media private messages. My head was spinning. Disregarding my not fully recovered body, I stumbled into a taxi and headed to the office. But the door to my office was locked from the inside, and I could hear intimate gasping sounds coming from within. "Darling, you've done brilliantly. You've really helped me out this time," came a breathless voice. Then I heard my wife, Anna, panting. "I just said a few words to those business partners. Who knew they'd actually believe it?" Max's laughter was full of flirtation. "If someone else had spread those rumors, they might not have believed it. But you're his wife? Who wouldn't believe you? Doing this in his office while he's away, it's quite thrilling, isn't it? Darling, you're so beautiful. I adore you." Their voices, accompanied by suggestive breathing, gradually lowered. In the end, I only heard Anna's confession. "I love you too, Max. I love you the most. I'd do anything for you." I stood motionless outside the door, feeling as if I'd been plunged into an icy abyss. So, the flood of accusations against me on the internet was orchestrated by my own wife. In a haze of excruciating bewilderment, I remembered how Anna had earnestly promised to learn to love me when she accepted my ring 5 years ago. I believed her for 5 years, and now I felt like a complete fool. I returned to the hospital in a daze, only to be confronted by a group of indignant citizens at the entrance. "It's him. That's the heartless boss." Surrounded by the crowd, I tried to maintain my composure. "Please, everyone, calm down. I will clarify the online allegations, and if I've truly done anything wrong, please trust the police to handle it." But no one listened. Someone hurled a water bottle at my head. I immediately felt dizzy and smelled the scent of blood. Following this lead, the onlookers began throwing things at me: eggs. Rubbish. "You scum. Go to hell. You've killed for money. You deserve to die. We're delivering justice today." My body hadn't fully recovered, and I was pushed to the ground. Fists and feet rained down on me. I was on the verge of passing out, only able to weakly defend myself. "I didn't do any of those things. I will clear this up." But the blows continued to fall on my body. I curled up on the ground, looking like a pathetic vagrant. It wasn't until the security guards discovered the situation and called the police that the crowd dispersed. However, the scene had been captured by reporters, and online sentiment was overwhelmingly supportive of the attackers. I painfully curled up in bed, unable to hold back my tears. I thought to myself, what a pitiful man I've become, reduced to this state because I fell in love with a woman. I picked up my phone and sent a message to my most trusted assistant. "Forget about the online public opinion. Proceed with accelerating the stock price reduction and the low price acquisition. I just want to leave as soon as possible and never see Anna again." Saul Brown, my brother Max, and Anna Roberts grew up together. I've always had feelings for Anna, but she's been in love with Max for as long as I can remember. However, Max eventually married a woman who could better advance his career. Anna was heartbroken and approached me out of the blue. "Saul, you like me, don't you? Why don't we give it a try?" she asked. At that moment, I felt overwhelmed with joy, but little did I know that she was only using me to get to Max. Anna came to the hospital that evening. She frowned when she saw the bruises on my face. Darling, I don't know who's spreading these rumors about you. I believe in you. You're the best. And you'd never do anything to harm others. I'll help you get to the bottom of this, she said with such conviction that if I hadn't overheard their conversation earlier, I might have believed her. I stared at her intently. Love, do you really not know who's behind these rumors? She laughed nervously. How would I know? Don't think about it too much now. Focus on getting better. Perhaps out of guilt, Anna did take good care of me for a while, but by then I felt nothing but numbness. This numbness was shattered during a family dinner. My sister-in-law announced her pregnancy, and Max was doting on her, not at all like a man who'd had an affair. Anna's face contorted with jealousy, and I felt a sharp pain in my chest. After dinner, I stood on the second floor with Lori, my sister-in-law. Her concern for me seemed genuine, and I was torn about whether to tell her the truth, fearing it might be too much for her in her condition. That's when the accident happened. A commotion broke out in the restaurant, with a group of people pushing and shoving. Lori, unable to move away in time, was knocked down the stairs. Blood spread from beneath her, and I was terrified. I quickly called for Max. At the hospital, Lori lost the baby. Hearing her sobs, I felt devastated for her. But then Anna tugged at my sleeve. Saul, I know you've been upset about losing clients to Max lately, but you shouldn't have pushed Lori. She was pregnant. Her voice was loud enough for everyone in the room to hear. I looked at Anna in disbelief. What are you talking about? I didn't push Lori. Anna wiped her eyes. Saul, I can't watch you make another mistake. I know you're angry, but Lori and the baby were innocent. Max sprang up from the hospital bed and punched me in the face. Saul, I'm your brother, and she's your sister-in-law. How could you do something so horrible? He shouted. I was about to hit back when my father stopped me. He looked at Anna. Anna, did you really see Saul push her? Anna nodded without hesitation, and I felt nothing but hollow despair. Anna, I've loved you for so many years. What have I ever done to deserve this? I asked. Anna's eyes darted away. Saul, we're married. I can't let you make mistakes. My father sighed. Saul, after what you've done, you should transfer your shares in Chamberlain Group to your brother. Consider it your penance. Max's eyes lit up, and in that moment, I understood. This had been their endgame all along. I laughed through my tears. I didn't do anything. Why should I atone for something I didn't do? I shook off my father and punched Max repeatedly in the face. From this day forward, I have no brother, I declared, looking directly at Anna as I said it. But today's events weren't going to be resolved so easily. Max Brown, furious and humiliated, said he would sue me and absolutely wouldn't let me off the hook. He really hired a lawyer and filed a case in court. When the court summons arrived, Anna Roberts paced back and forth anxiously. Saul, don't be so stubborn. Those shares aren't worth it. You'll end up in prison. Besides, you were wrong in this matter to begin with. How have you become so despicable? I scoffed lightly. Anna, did you really see me push him? Anna looked a bit guilty but still shouted loudly. I did see it. Saul, you're really disappointing me now. I'm trying to help you. If you insist on going to court, I'll side with justice, not family. I'll testify as a witness. I closed my eyes briefly, not understanding how the person I once loved had changed so completely. Max also confronted me. When no one else was around, he mocked me shamelessly. Brother, you used to outdo me in studies, and later in work performance at the company. But look how pitiful you are now. My dear sister-in-law has agreed to testify for me. My conditions have changed now. It's not just about those shares. I want your little company too. If you don't agree, we'll see each other in court. He took advantage of my distraction to grab my collar and slam me against the wall. I was left dizzy and disoriented. Max, you're dreaming. But just as I raised my fist to fight back, a thermos flask smashed hard against my back. The scalding liquid sent searing pain through my back. Saul Brown, what are you trying to do? Max put on an act of pushing me away. Anna, please talk some sense into Saul. I just came to have a good chat with him, but he wanted to hit me without reason. Anna ignored my scalded back and arms, anxiously checking if Max was hurt. Saul Brown, have you gone mad? If you're going to be so obstinate, I will definitely testify. You can rot in jail. The physical and emotional pain was almost suffocating. At that moment, my phone buzzed with a message. Mr. Brown, the stock price manipulation and acquisition is complete. We've moved it offshore very discreetly. No one has noticed. I closed my eyes, hiding the tears that threatened to fall. Max, if you want my things so badly, I don't want them anymore. Take it all, including Anna. Max left triumphantly, but Anna was stunned. A flicker of unease arose in her heart, not understanding why I had suddenly agreed so readily. What did I mean by not wanting anything anymore? But she didn't have much time to think about it. Max withdrew the lawsuit, and his wife was very displeased. To appease her, Max turned into a super attentive husband. Anna could barely conceal her jealousy at home every day. She acted out of character and invited me to a date at a countryside restaurant. Our last anniversary was such a disaster. Darling, I want to make it up to you and help you relax after everything that's happened. I knew she couldn't wait any longer. I forced a bitter smile. Anna, if someday you look back on today, will you regret it? She paused for a moment, then smiled. Saul, what nonsense are you talking about? That place is very hard to book. Make sure you're on time tomorrow. Okay? I smiled, looking more pained than if I were crying, but I still agreed to the date. When I arrived the next day, she predictably made an excuse not to show up. When a group of people jumped out, all my illusions about her finally shattered. My assistant, leading the team lying in wait, easily subdued the people Anna had hired. They had also prepared everything for my departure. I looked at the people tied up on the ground and tossed down a divorce agreement. Take this to her. Go back and tell Anna Roberts that I wish her a lifetime of no regrets. Anna Roberts was still waiting for a response, growing increasingly anxious. She feared that the people she had hired might have gone too far and something terrible had happened. She felt conflicted. Having made up her mind, she realized that after so many years, her obsession was finally coming to an end. There was nothing left to fixate on. Her thoughts turned to me. Over the years, I had indeed been good to her, a decent husband. She considered that after fulfilling her wish, it wouldn't be so bad to settle down and live a good life with me. Just as she was about to call me, the leader of the kidnappers she had hired came stumbling in. It's bad, Miss Roberts. Our plan failed. They knew about it in advance and were prepared. Mr. Brown also asked me to give you this. Anna's face turned pale as she saw the signed divorce papers. Her hands trembled as she held them. Max Brown arrived at that moment, his face contorted with anger. He waited until everyone else had left before he exploded. He threw a financial report in Anna's face. You fool! Saul Brown's shares were deliberately undervalued and then bought at a low price. His company has long been just an empty shell. Are you and Saul in cahoots to play me for a fool? Anna, I really wanted you to succeed so I could properly tell my father about taking care of you to repay your love. You've truly disappointed me. Anna's face was drained of all color, her whole body shaking like a leaf. At that moment, she couldn't care less about whether Max was disappointed or not. Her eyes were fixed on Saul Brown's flamboyant signature on the divorce papers, fear rising within her. She wondered if I had known all along what she and Max were up to, despite all her careful preparations. She thought about how much I loved her, how I couldn't possibly let her go. Surely, I was just throwing a tantrum. She frantically began calling me on her mobile, only to find that the number had been disconnected. Then she started sending me messages in a frenzy. Darling, answer my call. I can explain everything. But her messages were met with red exclamation marks. She could barely hold onto her phone. She wanted to go out and find me, but Max stopped her. He was furious now. He had originally thought that if that stupid woman Anna could succeed, it would be best if I was severely harmed or even killed. If not death, Then disappearing for 2 or 3 months would be enough for him to take everything that was mine. You didn't even accomplish anything, and now Saul has vanished. We might be exposed. From now on, stay far away from me. Don't you dare come looking for me again. You might not care about the embarrassment, but I certainly do." Anna was thunderstruck, looking at Max in disbelief. "But you said you had feelings for me too, that you only married your wife because of family pressure. You said you cared for me." Max shed all pretense of tenderness and love, looking at Anna with a mocking expression. "Who would care about you if it weren't for what Saul had? Look at yourself. You came running at my beck and call like a dog. Utterly pathetic. If you dare speak about our relationship, now that Saul isn't here to protect you, you'll see how I'll deal with you." Max stormed out, slamming the door. Anna collapsed to the ground, devastated and hopeless. She took out her phone and sent a voice recording to Max's wife, then covered her face and burst into tears. She thought back to the past, how my eyes were always full of love for her. No matter where we were, I only had eyes for her. That was true love. How could she have been so foolish to think that Max truly loved her too? Anna Roberts wasn't a complete fool. She had sent a recording to Max Brown's wife of them plotting to terminate her pregnancy and frame Saul for it. Max's wife, who hadn't yet recovered from the sudden loss of her child, was devastated upon learning the truth. In a fit of rage, she beat Max bloody at home. Coming from an influential family herself, she immediately called her father to cut all business ties with Max. This move essentially severed the lifeline of Max's struggling company. Max, nearly losing all his dignity, got down on his knees to beg his wife for forgiveness. "Darling, I was just misled by Anna," he pleaded. "It was her wicked idea. She's the shameless one, still lusting after her husband's brother. I was just under her spell." But his wife was a clear-headed woman. No matter how much Max begged, she refused to forgive him and was determined to file for divorce. The Brown family was in chaos, while Anna locked herself in her room, crying until she was exhausted. Suddenly, as if remembering something, she rushed out of the house. But once outside, she realized she had no idea where to find Saul. After 5 years of marriage, she had never cared about him. She didn't know his favorite places or who his friends were. Yet Saul had always remembered her menstrual cycle, preparing everything in advance to ease her discomfort. Would there ever be someone who loved her as much as he did? She didn't know that someone who loved her so deeply couldn't bear to divorce her. Anna stood on the busy street and broke down in tears again, like a lost child unable to find her way home. She clutched the divorce papers, refusing to sign them. She stubbornly believed that as long as she didn't sign, they would remain married. She thought that with some sweet talk and apologies, given how much Saul loved her, they could reconcile. Saul's lawyer had tried 3 times to retrieve the signed documents but failed, finally losing patience. The lawyer, accompanied by several people, barged into the house. "Miss Roberts, due to your lack of cooperation, we have no choice but to resort to special measures," the lawyer said. Anna shook her head frantically. "I won't sign. I won't divorce." The lawyer calmly signaled to his companions. 2 of them restrained Anna. "Since Miss Roberts refuses to cooperate, we rough men have no choice but to use some force," one of them said. Mr. Brown instructed that as long as we get back the signed divorce papers, a little violence is acceptable. Anna couldn't believe what she was hearing. She struggled desperately. "I don't believe it. Saul loves me the most. He wouldn't let you hurt me," she cried. "If you dare touch me, Saul won't let you off." The lawyer shook his head helplessly. "It seems Miss Roberts won't cooperate without force." He gave a nod, and one of the men kicked hard at the back of Anna's knee. She turned pale with pain. She screamed in agony but still refused to sign. "No divorce. I won't divorce. I need to find him." Her other leg was then kicked hard, and she collapsed to the ground. The lawyer had to go to great lengths to obtain the complete divorce papers. "Miss Roberts, if you had cooperated earlier, you wouldn't have had to suffer so much," he said. Anna was in too much pain to speak, with tears of despair streaming down her face. As the lawyer was leaving, he ran into Max, who was heading towards the house. Max looked haggard, having lost a significant amount of weight in just a few days. He glanced at Anna lying on the ground, then violently grabbed her by the throat. "I warned you not to mess around, didn't I?" he snarled. "Look what you've done to me. I won't let you off easy either." Max's expression was twisted with rage, his grip tightening. Anna's attempts to fight back were futile. Her face slowly turned a dark shade of red. Just before she was about to suffocate, her hand found her sharp stiletto heel. "I've moved most of my business operations abroad, and it's been challenging to establish myself in an unfamiliar place. Fortunately, I've managed to recruit an excellent local partner, Lori Green. She's a fellow Brit with numerous successful business ventures under her belt. A typical career woman, she and I are often the last to leave the office each day." The solicitor sent me the signed divorce papers. I couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when he explained how he managed to get Anna Roberts to sign. "I'm sorry, Mr. Brown. She wasn't cooperating, so I had to resort to some forceful measures. If you wish to reprimand me, I'll accept it without complaint." After a moment of silence, I shook my head. "It's fine. Getting the agreement is what matters." I was surprised that such tactics were necessary to get Anna's signature. I thought she'd be happy about our divorce. After all, her eyes were only for Max. Or perhaps she feared that once we were officially divorced, she'd lose any chance of seeing Max. How devoted she is. News about the Brown family has been trickling in. I heard that Anna, for some unknown reason, had severely injured Max. He's still unconscious in hospital. Max and his wife have finalized their divorce, and her family has completely ruined Max's company. My father, in an attempt to save face, has banished Anna from London. My father has tried to contact me multiple times, but I've kept my whereabouts a secret. The explosive news has left me at a loss. The chaos in the family is partly my fault, and I don't know how to face him. I can only throw myself into work, slowly establishing the company's footing here, while gradually pushing thoughts of Anna to the back of my mind. But I never expected to encounter Anna abroad. One night, after working late with Lori, I was about to offer her a lift home when Anna intercepted us. She looked disheveled, nothing but skin and bones. Her eyes, bloodshot, glared at me, then at Lori. "Saul Brown, you haven't come back for me all this time because you've fallen in love with this woman, haven't you?" She screamed hysterically, clearly in a bad state. Instinctively, I stepped in front of Lori. "Lori and I are just colleagues. I haven't come back for you. Don't you remember what you did? I stepped aside so you could be with my dear brother. Aren't you happy?" Suddenly, she burst into tears, crying without restraint. "Saul, I know I was wrong. I sold the house you gave me, all the jewelry and handbags, just to find out where you were. Please, talk to me." She tried to reach out and grab me, but I dodged her. There was a time when I couldn't bear to see her shed a single tear. Seeing her cry would make me feel guilty, thinking I hadn't done enough. But now I only felt annoyed. I got Lori into the car before getting in myself. Anna was crying uncontrollably, desperately running after the car. In the rearview mirror, I noticed she was limping slightly. "But she's no longer my wife. It's not my concern anymore." Lori looked at me teasingly. "Boss, I should get hazard pay for today, shouldn't I? This month's bonus ought to be doubled." She was trying to lighten the mood, and I played along with a smile. "Sure, the performance this month has been excellent anyway. Doubling the bonus is definitely in order." However, the thought of Anna finding me here left me with a lingering unease. Not wanting her to ambush the office again or cause more trouble for Lori, I changed our itinerary. Lori and I went on business trips to several counties. When we finally had to return to the office, Anna was still there. Her persistence at this point was both irritating and frightening. She frantically blocked my path. "You haven't even been coming to the office these days. Where have you been gallivanting with that woman?" I pried her fingers off me one by one. "We have nothing to do with each other anymore. You have no say in my life." Anna's expression turned pleading. "Saul, it's not like that. You used to like me so much, remember? You loved me. I laughed bitterly. Yes, I remember. I remember how I pathetically loved a woman who was in love with my brother, willingly wearing the cuckold's horns. Thankfully, such foolishness only lasts for so long. But I also remember you and my brother carrying on in my office. How ecstatic you sounded, saying he was the one you loved most. So why on earth would I want a woman like you? The color drained from her face, her lips trembling for a long while before she could speak. I stepped back from her. So, if you have any sense of shame left, how dare you cling to me and say you're sorry? Anna stood there, hunched over, not following me anymore. For several days after that, she didn't appear again. I thought I had hurt her enough that she'd finally come to her senses and left, no longer pestering me. But then one day, Lori didn't come to work, and she hadn't informed me about taking any leave beforehand. This had never happened before. Lori Green was an exceptionally dedicated employee who would come to work rain or shine. A sense of unease grew within me, and I immediately called Lori's boyfriend, who said she had left for work as usual. Thinking of Anna Roberts' madness and sudden disappearance, the anxiety in my heart exploded. I quickly contacted the police, reporting it as a kidnapping. The police were highly efficient, pulling up all the CCTV footage along her usual route. They discovered that Lori had indeed been abducted. The guilt and anxiety threatening to overwhelm me, my instincts told me this had something to do with Anna Roberts. The trail led to a motel. Sure enough, we found Anna Roberts sitting at the reception desk of the motel. I gripped Anna's wrist tightly. "Where's Lori? What have you done to her?" Anna smiled eerily. "That woman. How long have you known her? Why are you so concerned about her?" I couldn't hold back any longer and slapped Anna across the face. Tears streamed down her face from the impact. "You hit me? You hit me for her." Yet she refused to reveal Lori's whereabouts, so the police and I had to search room by room. We finally found her in one of the rooms, half asleep and seemingly disoriented, wildly waving a piece of broken glass at anyone who approached. Seeing that her clothes were still intact, I couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known how to explain this to Lori and her boyfriend. As we helped her downstairs, I couldn't resist giving Anna another slap. Any remnants of my former feelings for her had shattered completely. "Anna, you're a woman too. How could you do something like this to another woman?" Anna laughed hysterically, laughing through her tears. "You didn't want to look at me again, you wanted a divorce. Wasn't it because you minded what happened between me and your brother in the office? What about other women then? I don't believe you don't mind them." I gritted my teeth. "You're mentally ill. She has a boyfriend, we're just colleagues." She covered her face in anguish. "Yes, I've gone mad. I went mad the moment I realized I'd lost the person who probably loved me most in this world. Saul, tell me, why were you so good to me back then but didn't want me? After experiencing someone like you, where am I supposed to find someone else who'll treat me the way you did?" I didn't want to look at her anymore, finding her truly ridiculous, as if everything was my fault. Lori's boyfriend and I rushed her to the hospital. I felt so guilty for involving an innocent person that I wanted to bang my head against the wall. Fortunately, she had only been drugged, and her condition wasn't too serious. When Lori woke up, I apologized to her sincerely. "I'm so sorry, truly sorry. That woman is my ex-wife. We divorced recently, and I think she wanted to win me back, so she did some crazy things. You have every right to blame me. I'll accept any compensation you want. Even if you don't want to work for me anymore, I understand. You can make any demands you like." Lori's boyfriend was clearly angry with me, glaring at me with hostility. I accepted his fury without complaint. But Lori was truly a kind person. She didn't say anything against me and just said she didn't blame me. I couldn't just brush it off and say it wasn't my fault. I increased Lori's share of the profits as compensation. At the police station, Anna had also been detained. However, she wasn't cooperating well, and the police called me hoping I could come in. The suspect is being very uncooperative. She's attempted suicide several times in custody. She says she'll only confess if she sees you. I sighed in frustration but resigned myself to going. Dealing with this properly would be a way to make amends to Lori, as some harm can't be compensated with money alone. At the police station, Anna's mental state seemed poor. When she saw me, her eyes lit up with wild joy, then quickly turned to anguish. "Saul, why did you take so long to come?" I didn't answer. She pointed at her leg. "Do you know why I'm limping? I smashed your brother's things. Your father couldn't do much to me. After all, it wouldn't look good for your brother and sister-in-law. He could only chase me away. But I didn't want to leave. If I left, it would be hard to find out where you were. So I refused to go. Your father, he chased me out, with such a thick stick, hitting my leg." She gestured to show the thickness of the stick, as if tattling on someone. But I was no longer the person who would seek justice for her. "Anna, I don't care about any of this. I couldn't care less what harm you've suffered." Her expression suddenly turned very sad. "How can we go back to how we were before? We had a chance to be so in love." I looked at her calmly, without joy or sorrow. "Yes, if you had just nodded back then, we would have had a chance. But a person's love is limited. You used it up bit by bit, from abandoning me on that island, to framing me, to giving false testimony, until there was nothing left. I could have died without realizing it. I know everything you did for Max. A man should be magnanimous. But when it comes to you, I can never get over it. You'd better stay far away and never bother me again. Chances are limited and you've run out of them. To be honest, seeing you cry now makes me feel a bit sick. I'm begging you. Can you please realize your mistakes?" She covered her face, her shoulders shaking uncontrollably. "Even if I truly realize my mistakes now, it's too late, isn't it?" I nodded, then told the police I had done all I could. Just as I walked out of the police station, I got a call saying Anna had confessed. I looked up at the sun in the sky and sighed. If only everyone could learn to cherish what they have in front of them.